And so I'm going to be speaking today on remarketing and higher converting remarketing audiences and how we can achieve them. So typically what I get when I recommend remarketing to specific clients who have never done it before, I've seen that they haven't paused, is that I usually hear two things, sometimes together, sometimes separate. First thing I hear is that we tried it before in the past, remarketing didn't work for us, it wasted a lot of money, so we paused it. Completely understand that, that's fair. Second thing I hear is they think it's going to be annoying to users to see an ad over and over again, potentially because they didn't know about the frequency capping, but they didn't want to turn people off of their brand by forcing ads in front of them all the time. Again, completely fair concern. When I come back with them and I say, when are ads not annoying? You see a little light bulb in the head churning, and I always like to respond and say, ads aren't annoying when they speak directly to the user, when it solves their problem, when it's going to help them, and when it's going to benefit them. That's when ads aren't annoying. And we do that by understanding the intent of the user of when they came to your website. What were they trying to do? What were they trying to accomplish? And we look at intent, and we think about intent, and we talk about intent. Let's look at the definition and understand intent by this definition when users are on your website. All right? There's a purpose. There's a reason those users are on your website or your landing pages. A user wanted to complete some sort of objective, a goal, a target. They were determined to do something on your website or your landing pages. All right? We have clear intent usually, typically when we talk about intent. A lot of search marketers like to go to the search network. Clear intent. We have keywords, especially with PPC, that we can track those user search queries. If someone's going to Google and they're typing in vinyl records OKC, I know what that user's looking for. I know what they intend to do. They want to buy vinyl records in OKC. And Guest Room is showing up, so kudos to Guest Room. I'm going to have to visit that record store later on today. But when we add different qualifiers to that user search query, it changes the intent. Someone looking for used has a very specific product in mind. They don't want to pay a lot. Someone's looking for rare releases, limited edition, they're willing to pay a little bit more money. We get that intent with search query data. But this session is not about the search network. I want to talk about remarketing. And figuring out remarketing and intent together, it's not that easy. All right, there's a lot of different components that will make intent a lot harder with remarketing because they're not telling you exactly what they want with search query data. So what do we do? Think of all the basic definition, or the first time someone ever explained remarketing to you, what did they say? Probably something along the lines of, well, people are going to visit your website, then we're going to cookie them, and then they leave, and then we follow them around with ads, right? That's just probably the basic way you would describe remarketing to someone brand new. But think of all that. If you're really just targeting users who visited your website, we don't have a clear intent on what they were doing, especially if you're targeting all visitors to any page of your website. Think of all the different types of users that can land on your homepage. Did that person actually want to buy something from you? I don't know. Did they just want to read your blog? Did they just want to watch a YouTube video? Were they looking for your phone number? Did they want to download a white paper? Did they just want to find your social media accounts? Is it a recruiter coming to your website, looking at your team page so they can poach your employees? Is it potentially your competitor coming to your website to see your marketing strategy so they can research and try to have a way to one-up you? So if we're still doing remarketing audiences based on your overall site visits, do you want those competitors and those recruiters who aren't going to buy anything from you ever mixed in with the people who are actually going to convert? No, and that's exactly how you waste a lot of money. So, if we don't know the intent of the users, how can we use it for remarketing? And that's exactly what I want to tell you how to do today. Hello, my name is Joe Martinez. I already got a nice introduction. I'm not going to talk about myself too much. It is an absolute honor to be back here at Confluence for a second year. I had so much fun last year. A lot of people have already come up and saying hi again, which is great to see you all again. I've been busy, a lot of writing, a lot of speaking. It is my career, but it's also my hobby, so if I'm not reading or watching Star Wars, I'm doing something related to PPC. One thing I'm proud of that happened this year, and we're about to kick it off next month. Damon's actually coming. He's speaking tomorrow. He's actually coming to Milwaukee to help us kick off a new search organization in Milwaukee. So if you ever have the itch to speak, you want to dip your toes, get your feet wet, come talk to me. We'll have you out in Milwaukee. I still work for Granular in Milwaukee, downtown. We are still dedicated to just paid search, PPC only. We are looking to hire, so 2 people. If anyone wants to do PPC, come work with me in Milwaukee. We'd love to have you. We only hire people who are doing it at least 3 years left, or 3 years or more. Senior talent only, and we've been growing fast. That's why we need more people. We've probably more than doubled in size since I was here last year. So we have a good, almost a dozen people on our team now. And I also like to include one fun fact about me, just to get to know a little bit more about me. And I saved a good one for Oklahoma. Fun Joe fact is I got to hang out with Hanson for a whole afternoon. So I know Hanson's, see, I figured Oklahoma would like that one. So if you, yes, that's me, the long hair, that was college, so you can feel free to make fun of me. Taylor doesn't look too happy to be standing right next to me. He's like, what's this guy doing? If anyone wants to hear about my story with Hanson, I'd be more than happy to tell you about it. All right, back to the content. I want to introduce you to your new best friend, and that's Google Tag Manager. If you're already using Google Tag Manager, someone cheer, good, you're off to a head start. If not, you need to start digging in and researching, getting really familiar with Google Tag Manager. So, the main importance of Google Tag Manager is, which I can call it GTM too if I shorten it for you, is that you can put one piece of code on your website, and it's going to handle all of your tags. Analytics, remarketing, some AdWords conversion tracking. Sorry, I'm blanking out a little bit. It'll handle all your social tags. It'll do custom HTML. You can do some conversion rate optimization tags, all within one piece of code. So you don't have to go back to your developer every single time and start adding all this code on your website. Handle it all through the Tag Manager system. What I like to do it for, and what we're going to use it for our remarketing audiences, is event tracking. So event tracking, about 5 years ago, you used to have to go to record user interactions. You'd have to manually update code on your site just to record actions within Google Analytics. Well, now we can all do it through Google Tag Manager. It's really easy, and we can do a lot of complex user tracking so we can get an idea of what users are doing on your website. They're showing intent. We have user actions recorded, and now I'm going to start using those to create some really good remarketing strategies. So what can we record? A lot of variety of different things. This is an example of a radio station we do. We do PPC for. We're tracking how many people are clicking on their radio player so they're listening online. All right, we're tracking outbound link clicks, we're tracking email clicks, we're tracking when they click on native video that's not a YouTube embed on their website to see what users are doing on our website. So from a remarketing standpoint, I want to grab all these audiences, and I'm going to go to the admin section within Google Analytics. In the middle column, which is your property column, down a little bit, I've highlighted it right there, that's your audience definitions. This is where PPC marketers need to go to create the remarketing audiences. There are a few audiences that you can only create within AdWords, but everything else you should be going to Google Analytics, not AdWords. We can create almost an endless amount of hyper-targeted remarketing audiences that are not going to be broad at all. If you want to target users who visited at least 5 pages on your site, you can do it. If you want to target users who are a specific age range, layered on with a bunch of other functions, you can do it. You can go down and target specific devices. You can target someone's specific web browser of how they visited your website. I can go on and on. But my favorite exactly is all the events that we're tracking, we can go in the advanced section of this audience definitions, and we can create remarketing audiences based on the actions that users have taken on your website. They've shown intent by performing those actions. We're recording those, and now we're going to come up with an ad strategy to follow those users to show them something that they want because they've told us what they like to do. So now we're not just blanket targeting people who visited our website. We're going to show them exactly what they want to see, exactly what they like to do. So for the rest of this presentation, I only have time to go through 3 of my favorite event tags and how we can do remarketing strategies. So I'm just going to dive in, and you'll have links of how you can find these and implement them yourself. So the first one is from Simo Ahava. It might be a little bit of an insult. I'm doing something as easy as outbound link clicks from his website. It's an insult because this guy is the Tag Manager king. His whole website and blog is dedicated. He creates all these complex tags, and he gives you step-by-step directions on how to implement this stuff. I'm going to be showing the slides, so no need to write it down. You're going to get the links. But then what we want to do with outbound link clicks is if you're having a blog or you have other components of your website where you are sending users away from your site with external links, we want to track, and the most important part here is the label. We're going to record that root domain of where the user is going after they leave your website, because you have that as a click. So with that, what it's going to look like within analytics, we're going to see the outbound links. That's just the name of the category. You can change it to whatever you want. But the event label is where it's going to record those domains. So first, what I might want to do, this is just one option. I only have the 3 visible because that's what we're going to see, is that we're going to take all the domains that we're sending users to. And then I'm going to go within the display planner in Google AdWords, and I'm going to see if those websites that we're sending users to allow ad space. So one option that's going to give me is that I can put direct placements of my remarketing ads just on those websites. That might not be an option for everyone. If you don't have ads or ad space that you're sending users to, that's okay. Because I really like to use the outbound link click for thinking about ongoing strategy, answering what's next. So this is one example. If you have an app, most likely you have this button on your website along with the Google Play or the Google Store. So if users are clicking on this, they're showing me an intent that they wanted to download my app. So I'm going to create an audience from users who clicked on my app download links, then I'm sending them to the stores. So I'm going to start remarketing those users with app download ads through a variety of different channels, either through just regular search, or I can do it through some YouTube stuff as well. And if you're worried about, well, remarketing to users who may have actually downloaded the app, I'm going to create different mobile engagement audiences to add as campaign exclusions to do as best as I can to try to just show this download ad just to the users who clicked on this, but most likely did not download the app. That's one option. What I'm also going to do with this is I'm going to show a YouTube video of all my app benefits to everyone who clicked those buttons, whether I know that they downloaded it or not. Because if they downloaded it, they see features. Oh, well, this app does that? Oh, that's cool. I didn't know it did that because I don't read the Apple Store description. So they're going to reopen your app, re-engage with your app, re-engage with your brand. And who knows what other conversions they might do when they're back on your app. For all the people who didn't download it and they see the video, they're going to see all the cool features, right? And be like, oh, this is great. Maybe I will download the app. And there's that YouTube setting where I can just have them click on a button as they're watching the video on their phones and download the app straight from their phones. So that's how I'm using the outbound link clicks to create that strategy of helping those users find what they want, because they told me what they were looking for. So if you have other outbound links too, like think of your social media links that you're sending users to, maybe that gives you an opportunity to create ads that speak to those users, because you might have a different personality on Facebook, you might have a different personality on Instagram, then you can create ads that speak to those different channels. If you know your users like Instagram, you can have more image-worthy photos, more fun photos, all right? Change it up to what the user was clicking on. Second audience, and this one is arguably one of my favorite, is from Lunametrics. They are also a bunch of really smart tag manager guys. They also do tag manager trainings across the country, so you might want to research them if you're really getting into tag manager and want to know more about it. But they've created a tag of form abandonment, and this one is awesome. All right, so what they can do with their tag is that we're tracking whether users have completed your form or whether they skipped it. And we can track that based on them engaging with the form in some way, filling out one of the form fields, and then either they submitted it or they skipped it. Pretty straightforward. The event category right now is undefined. In this particular example, there's only one form on my landing page, so I don't need to categorize it. But if you have multiple forms, you can create a tag for each form. And then in the Lunametrics code, you can just update the tag a little bit. So in your categories, you can do it, contact us, RFQ, newsletter, whatever you have on your site. So if we switch that event action in the secondary dimension to event label, we'll now see the form fields. This is the last form field that the user interacted with before they either completed the form or they skipped it. So a little non-remarketing tip why I love using this as well is that we're going to get a better understanding of where users are dropping off. So even if you segment this by device too, sometimes you'll see your desktop forms look all right, but if you look at mobile, sometimes you might see a huge drop off because we're really lazy on our phones. We don't like to fill out a lot of stuff. So it might give you a little chance to do some mobile optimization here too. But from a marketing standpoint, I know these users are engaged. So I'm going to take these audiences, go back into my audience definitions, and I'm creating a remarketing audience for users who skipped my form. That's one option. And then you can add additional filters so you can segment by form. It's up to you if you want to do it by form or just any form in general on your site. So why? Why are we doing this? Again, it goes back to intent. I know the user was on my site, and I know they were trying to fill out my form. They were this close to converting. And who is more likely to convert? Someone who just visits the page, could be potentially by accident, or someone who is actually engaged with my form and starting to fill it out, right? I'm going to create this engagement audience first every single time, and I'm going to see a higher conversion rate. I mean, I think of myself. I had my kids' Halloween costumes in the Amazon cart for over a week. I knew I was going to get them, but I have 2 small kids, I'm work, busy, other stuff happens. You don't get to it. It happens. So creating a remarketing audience to get users back and fill it out, it's the great way to do it. If you have the last form field, if you have a remarketing audience, you're targeting users who have interacted with all the form fields on your form, but they still did not submit, That's like the B2B version of shopping cart remarketing. All right, they've done everything. They are the closest possible way to converting, but for whatever reason they didn't. So look at what you can do in terms of setting this tag on your site to get users coming back, because they're going to be more qualified than a page visit. Last one, I have no link. It's just me, it's just a simple tag that I created. The mobile click to call, it's going to be different. It's all depending on how the code is on your site, but it's really just a simple click text to call. So you have your phone. You've probably seen this before, experience. You see a phone number, call now button, you hit it, it pops up, and you can call those users directly from your phone. All right, well, we can track that. And what we're going to do in this particular case is that the click text, what the user is tapping on their phone said call us. So I'm telling Google Tag Manager to only record those in analytics when someone hits the call us button. And in the tag, you can pretty much label this whatever you want. In this particular case, this one just says click to call. So I'm going to take that click to call label, and that's how I'm going to create my first audience. And I'm going to add additional conditions and layers to it saying, okay, record these users when they hit my click to call button, and it was between the hours of 0, which is military time, midnight, Google Analytics, through the 7 o'clock hour in the morning. That's one audience. And I'm going to duplicate this for the evening hours as well. Get just the users who hit the click to call button from 6 p.m. through the 11 p.m. hour. So I have one for morning off hours and evening off hours. Users who were trying to reach me, trying to call me, but my store wasn't open, so I know I did not help those users. They still need something. And I know they still need something, so do you think I'm going to start putting just generic brand ads in front of them? Nope. They have a very particular problem, and I can help them solve that problem. I know their lawnmower is still broken. They were trying to reach me, and I know they didn't get help because I wasn't open. So my ad is speaking, knowing that they still have a problem, and I can help them and give them quicker service if they come back and fill out my forms. It's getting the intent of the user. I know they need help. I know they were trying to reach me. Another way that you can kind of track this user interaction too is with the chatbots. So the chats are becoming a really big thing. If you don't have someone to manage that 24/7, sometimes you have that out of office type reply thing with your chatbots. We can track user interaction sometimes with those chats as well when you're not open or when you can't give them the customer service. So I can see you feel, I can see a few leery looks right there, and I've been called out on this before. Because when you look at remarketing and display remarketing, you need 100 active users in that audience within the past 30 days to be able to use that remarketing audience. So if you think about it, if every 30 days, 100 plus people are clicking on your phone number and your chat, and you're not there to help them, shouldn't you fix your customer service first? Yes. Yes, you should. That is important. You should always focus on your customer service first. However, I can only speak for myself. I've been an agency guy my entire career. And a lot of past clients, you would be surprised how many I can count, name off, which I won't, that really don't put a lot of effort into customer service. It's a shame. No matter how much you try to help them out, sometimes it's not always in your hands. So if you have clients and you're on the agency side that they don't put a lot of effort in their customer service, help get those users coming back and converting. Not only will you help your own stats, you still help the company. You're performing some extra customer service by trying to get those users to come back and solve a problem that they need fixed. Also too, we want to look at remarketing itself by more than just display. I gave a lot of display examples, but we should also remember that remarketing exists in search too. We have RLSA campaigns. So if you're not familiar with RLSA, it's remarketing lists for search ads. So how this one works is user still visits your site, they still get cookied, and then when they leave and go back to google.com, they're still searching for keywords, but now we can either bid separately on those users, show those users a different ad, because they're in a search audience. So it's a way that we can remarket to users on search, almost and they don't even know that they're being remarketed to. It's a beautiful thing. All right, so what we need to do for RLSA, or that I want you to do, is all the actions that users can do on your site, start recording them. Build them up within Google Analytics so we can see them. And then we can import those, create a different audience for each action, and import all those into every single one of your search campaigns in Google AdWords. It might seem like a lot, and no, we're not bidding just on these audiences. I'm adding them as bid-only audiences, and you see there's no bid modifiers. So as time goes on, and we get the stats, the impressions, the clicks, the conversions, conversion rate, et cetera, for all these audiences, then I'm gonna get a good understanding of what intent actions that users did on my site are performing better. So I can add those bid modifiers to it. And what I can also do, which makes it even better, is that I can start creating ad text that speaks just to those users in search, all within through one ad. So this is how you do it with if statements. So if statements allow me to say between one audience, show them this headline or piece of ad text, everyone else will see a different one. And let's see how we set it up. So this is how it looks like in the back end of AdWords. This is not what the users see at all. So the if statement in my ad, using audiences, I'm telling the users if the audience includes email sign up. That's my sign up. Everyone in that email sign up audience will see the headline of members upgrade for free. So why? Because in that audience, if you signed up for an email, I know you're a member. So now I can speak just to the members and say, you get the upgrade for free. So that's like, oh, that's a great. They're speaking to me. They're speaking to what I want and what I like. Everyone else who's not in the email sign up, I'm just going to plant a seed. Have you tried premium? Right? So then they will get, no, I haven't. Go to the page, then they can sign up to become a member, and then still get their upgrade. So think about all the actions that users can take that we're tracking with the intent audience. What message do we want to see and put in front of their faces again when they go and search either for my brand name or my keywords? You know, another example that we do is with videos. We can do with like a YouTube audience video. If I know you watched any video on my YouTube channel, you can come back and say anyone who watched the YouTube video will see, okay, you've seen the videos, now get the product. Speaking to the action that the user took. So the more and more that we do that, we're going to see higher click-through rates, we're going to get better engagement with our ads, and of course the most important thing, higher conversion rates, more conversions. So, as I'm getting close to the end here, I'm going to need to wrap it up. Closing this out by saying, start tracking user behavior with Google Tag Manager. Get really familiar with it. Find out what users are doing on your website. A lot of the links that I sent you, like See Mojave, I have no problem admitting like I am not a coder. All these like tags are all like JavaScript and stuff. That stuff goes over my head. You do not have to be a coder to start implementing this stuff. Have all the other smart people like Lunametrics and CMO do all the coding stuff. We'll just take their directions and start implementing the marketing strategies. One that I really wanted to mention, I just couldn't include it because it's only like a month old. CMO has a really cool one where when you have a menu drop down, like say like a size, pick your size, small, large, or what services are you interested in, and you start listing out your services. CMO has a tag where you can track whatever option the user selects. So how cool is that when you can really segment your ads based on what the user just flat out told you what they're interested in? It's too new, I don't have a client using it, so I couldn't include it. Okay, number 2, remarket to the high intent users first, right? That's our goal. We want customers, we want leads, we want to make money. So go to those most specific users first who are going to convert. It just makes sense. And then if you're not hitting your reach goals, you're not spending your remarketing budgets, you want more, then start expanding the targeting to more broader audiences as time goes on. More broader, that's not English. And then last is change your ad message. The whole point of audience targeting and why advertising on Facebook can be so successful is that we're targeting the specific audiences. And that ad better reflect who that person is, what actions are they took, what are they interested in, what problems are you going to solve, how are you going to make their lives better. Right? The sooner we get audience marketing that speaks directly to the user, the better results that we're going to see. And you're not going to have wasted ad spend from remarketing. I promise you. So that is all I have. There's the slides. I'm going to tweet them out later as well. If we have any other questions about remarketing or PPC in general, I don't know how much time we have for Q&A or how fast I went. But yeah, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions either now or later on while we're playing video games and drinking beer. Thank you.
The actions where you can determine when somebody dropped off on a form, will that capture Google reCAPTCHA at all if they fail at that and then just decide to leave?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Go ahead.
When somebody fails and drops off a form,
yes.
If the form utilizes Google reCAPTCHA, will it be able to tell if they failed at that and then left, or does it just show the last form field, actual input field that they failed at?
Yeah, this one records the actual form field. So how it works is that a lot of these tags too, like especially CMO, so CMO actually does have a version of the form field tracking as well. He tells you there are certain ways that your sites and your forms have to be coded. So I believe in the Lunametrics one, it looks for a form ID, for a form field ID for each form field. So if your form doesn't have that, it doesn't record it, so most likely I don't think it'll be able to do CAPTCHA, but it still should at least be able to record the actual form fields one. But yeah, if it is the CAPTCHA that's tying it up, I actually don't think you could do that.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, I could be wrong.
Hi, I have a question on the remarketing tags. Is there some kind of option for that on, say, Facebook or social media platforms where you can get that kind of detailed behavior tracking, or is that just for like AdWords, PPC type stuff?
Yeah, anything if you're using Google Tag Manager, that's strictly just going to be through just the AdWords platform. And you can also use it for YouTube, being a part of it as well. Bing doesn't have anything like this yet. They do have RLSA type stuff, but we can't do some of the cool event tracking stuff because they don't have their own tag platform. Something that we can do too, potentially to try to get some Facebook data is that if you're doing the URL parameters for your Facebook ads or anything organic, in the Google Analytics you can do remarketing audiences based on your URL tag parameters. So you might be able to kind of use that reverse of kind of what you were hoping for, is all the cool stuff that you're doing on Facebook and driving traffic. Well, then we can create remarketing audiences based on specific campaigns from social, email, wherever. But yeah, to do the crisscross, it's just not there yet, unfortunately. Cool. All right.
Anybody else? No? All right, let's give a big hand for Joe Martinez.
Thank you.